You know when men are like, who hurt you? Like they think it was one. How like not based in reality do you have to be to think that any of us have a story of the one guy that hurt us and now we think all men are bad? When I was 12, I was at a mall near my house, and this man who, you know, I was 12, I don't know, he was in his 40s easily. He called me a beautiful woman. I was 12, right? So I'm not a woman. When I was 15, I had a guy friend. We'd been friends for like a year. We had mutual friends. I take the bus home from work after my job at the mall. He offered to pick me up and drive me home. But he didn't actually drive me home that night. He expressed interest in me. He wanted to date me. I had a boyfriend. So there we are driving home, and he said, unless I date him, unless I agree to go on a date with him, he was going to drive me to an area that he called Area 51. As an aside, that is not the name of the actual area he took me to. But he did drive me down a dark road into what appeared to be kind of a forest, essentially. And I noticed my cell phone reception dropping. He was driving so fast, and he refused to drive me home. Somehow, after so much time, I convince him to just take me home. I am beside myself. He takes me home. Now I'm standing in my driveway, and he follows me to my front door, and he has got me pressed against the brick wall right outside my door. When I was 16, a man grabbed my butt at a grocery store. When I was 19 and I was going out to bars, I got grabbed front, back, top, all of it by so many men every time I went out. And so many people are going to go, but what were you wearing? A t-shirt and jeans. Into my 20s, I have been stalked, followed home, grabbed, screamed at, harassed, in relationships with men, cheated on, lied to. When I was in my 30s, I was thrown up a staircase. I was strangled. And a lot of people will say, oh, well, you're the common denominator. Actually, women are the common denominator as the victim, and the common denominator of the perpetrators of a lot of this, weird, it seems to be men. Not all men, I know. But one thing I've noticed is kind of interesting over the years as I reflect back is that it was young men, old men, men of varying races, varying religions, varying socioeconomic backgrounds, but men. And so I haven't quite been able to figure out like which ones just by looking. I don't know why. You guys refuse to wear hats that identify yourself. It would really make it so much easier for us to sort of be the human lie detectors that a lot of men expect women to be. So after all of these experiences, right, I am cautious of all men, because if I am not cautious of all men, I could die. I like my life. I know, wild. I value my own life more than I value the feelings of any man on this planet. Yes, including my son, including my brother, including my father, including my partner. My life is more important than anyone's feelings. Period, full stop. So I will continue to be cautious of all men. I will continue to tell women why they should also be cautious of all men. And when people shame women for choosing the men who pretend to be something that they're not, and the men who lie, I don't care. I'm going to be right there in those comment sections saying STFU. If men genuinely cared to stop being treated like they were like violent, crazy men, don't be one. And for the men that aren't that type, don't allow your friends to be that way. I always find it so fascinating how men are always like, I don't know any men like this. You do. Yeah, you do. They're your friends, they're your brothers, they're in your churches, they're in your group chats. You absolutely do know these men. Men behave differently with other men. It's all socially acceptable. When they're around women, it's completely different. And the truth is, to me, you're not paying attention. Those men are not paying attention. They're not even interested, right? They just want to shame women for how women behave and how women feel, and they take no accountability. And it's the craziest thing because men are always like, oh, women don't take accountability. Women take accountability for what men do all the time, right? And it's interesting because the not all men are the ones who are telling us that it's all men. When you ask a woman what she was wearing, what I hear and what a lot of intelligent women hear is the exact same thing. I hear that men can't control themselves. And to be really clear, I hear men say that men can't control themselves. Because at the sight of a woman's skin, a man becomes a beast. That's what I hear. Because if a man could, in fact, control himself, she could wear a paper bag or be naked. What's the difference? Men create the perception that people have of them, and then they get mad. It's very abusive, actually. Like, okay, so I act like a complete horrible person all the time, but you're gonna go and call me a horrible person? Yeah. Well, I'm not a bad guy, so I don't understand why you're treating me badly. You can't be afraid of all men. You should only be afraid of the men who do that. And how do I identify that man? What do you mean? You should just know. You should get to know him. And how is it that I get to know him? Spend time with him. Go out. So be with him and put myself at risk before knowing him. And then, like, fingers crossed. All men have the capability to be and do this. And if men really wanted to solve the problem, and they don't, but if they did, they would be talking to other men. It never makes sense to me that we're always silencing the victims of this and blaming the women. And for the women that do it, for the men that do it, we are all just upholding the patriarchy. We are making this be how life is. We are never, ever going to change this and get out of this until we start holding the perpetrators accountable, until we start saying, stop doing that. No, that joke's not funny. We need to completely get rid of the culture, but men benefit from the culture. So men don't seem to want to do this. There's so few men that are actually interested in dismantling the patriarchy. You know, that thing that makes men unalive themselves at alarming rates, but also benefits them. So they just want it because it works for them. Yeah.